Next item on our work session agenda, we've been going about 45 minutes here. We'll go about another 15 or so, and then we'll take a quick break for anyone that needs to. Next thing on our work session agenda is the actual board meeting agenda for July 2nd. Has everyone received the packets? Make sure everyone's got the same information. The financial statement audit, looks like we've been left a copy here.
I think Vicky's given each of you a copy. Kim Smith is going to be here for our actual board meeting next week to go over this with you, but if it's okay with you, she was just going to mention a couple of things ahead of time while you have the document.
Sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention there's we'll see a green flag and yellow flag. These are the two most important things that are in the audit. And on where the green tab is, you'll see the opinion of the auditor. Basically, he's saying, he's giving us an unqualified opinion, so he's saying your financial statements are fairly stated based on his audit, so that's what we want. And then back on page 45 where you see the yellow tab, that's the only finding that we had in the audit, and it's been there as long as I've been here and probably will continue to be there for many years to come, which is an issue with segregation of duties, and it's mainly because we just don't have enough people to spread the work around so that you have enough, hands on it and enough people looking at the money and switching hands.
And that's a common finding in small schools.
Absolutely, yeah, especially at the local school level, and then also with smaller systems like ours at the central office level as well.
For those of you that's new, ever since I've been here, that's come up, and the alternative is to spend more money, hire more people, which would only then fix a small portion of the audit process and procedures, and frankly, it's just not viable. It's just not worth it to do. But now I did have a question, and I kind of figured this was coming.
Can I mention one thing before you leave, Bill, that?
Yes, my question is going to be, look, our new HR director and the restructuring of some of the things that we were doing, I wonder if we could improve this.
I was going to mention, I thought you were leaving the topic, but I was going to mention that while we're not going to be hiring extra people in the finance department, and again, this is a common issue in city systems, Ms. Smith and I have spent quite a bit of time talking about this, and we've talked to you guys some, and it's our determination that not only we should, but we can. We do have the ability to put in place some checks and balances within our staff that we have, including our new HR person as part of that will address this to some degree, so that the next time we go through an audit process, we would be able to point to some ways that while we haven't hired people, we have been able to try to have more eyes on some specific pieces of this. So we are actually already kind of working on that.
And I think that'll be a big help. I'm looking forward to that. It's part of the restructuring.
Another sidebar of that is it allows for some cross training, which is important when someone is not available for particular functions. So we'll serve two purposes.
Ms. Smith, I'm sure I'll be calling you.
Well, Mr. Smith, no relation will be here also. No relation will be here July 2nd at the board meeting. But yes, you call if you see anything in there that you have a question about.
Did you say it was related to you?
No relation.
Right, under the consent items, we have the board minutes. We have May 5, May 18, and June 11. Did anyone see any discrepancies in the minutes that need to be corrected? I did not, but I did. There's a lot of pages in this, and I went through it pretty quick, so I'm going to study over some more, but I did not find any quick review. One heavy, okay. Financial statements and bank reconciliations. I'll take comments or anything from the board or Dr. Spivey. Ms. Thompson, you always have a question about this.
Haven't lately.
That's a good thing. Not that you don't, but you do. It's a good thing. Go ahead.
Well, I know that we get our updates, but with the personnel changes that we've already made, what kind of vision do we have?
For next year?
I mean, you're not even going.
She and I were just
Yeah.
talking about that today.
Okay. I mean,
It's
I'm
hard to
just
say
curious.
until we get all of our, until we get all of those allocations in for next year. You know, we've talked about this year, it's not gonna make very much impact at all. They basically affect one line, because of the way the teachers are paid through the summer, 9, 10-month employees paid through the summer. So it won't make a lot of difference this year, but we should see an impact next year.
The other piece, we'll be able to kind of report back some on that other issue, which will have some impact with that overall number as well. So we're close to having that information for you.
Yeah, I think we might have a little more discussion about that when we
Yeah.
go across the budget amendment number 2, that's a little further down the line. All right, let's move on to the fundraisers. You have a bunch, once again, a bunch of fundraisers. Did anyone see any problems with any fundraisers or any questions that you want to ask? Ms. Thompson, just another one of your questions.
Oh, no. Nice. I didn't have any actually.
Okay.
I like the fundraisers that they don't have to give 50 or 60% away to somebody else.
I do too, and,
I'm not
They
even
are being
involved.
creative, that's for sure. I know that's
And I know there's a lot of fundraisers, about 100 now, I think.
yeah, I know those other ones are easier to do, but I agree with you. Also the ones that focus more on the city and county as opposed to some of the things that are.
Right.
And if we do vote on, or when we vote on these fundraisers, if there's a change in coaching, obviously they can come back.
If
they wanted to
if they decided not to do the fundraiser, I probably wouldn't bring, it's approved to be done if
Right.
they do it, but if
But
they
could
were
they-
to decide not to, but if they were to decide not to do one of these, but to replace it with a new one, it would have to come here too. And I'm trying to work through a lot of issues before they come to you guys, so, some of the things that we talked about earlier, completing the process, and trying to answer questions that aren't clear on the forms. We're trying to get cleaned up as much of this as possible before they come to you, so hopefully you're able to tell that.
Yeah, there was some words added, like boosters instead of just, so that's,
And we're turning some down too, or delaying if they come in late, so trying to get everybody to get these in earlier, so.
Okay, we'll move on to the action items. First thing on the list, personnel.
Can I mention a couple of things on the first two items, the personnel and the supplements? So
Yes. go
you
ahead.
don't have, you'll have the, just as always, with the personnel and the supplement positions, you'll have those names when we send the board packet out on Tuesday. But I wanted to, one thing I wanted to kind of get clarification of from the board as a body, and then another kind of issue. Let me start with the issue. So the principals have been working very diligently, and we've really been trying to keep them informed about timelines, but the timelines are really tight to get the personnel actions on this board meeting agenda because, school starts the day of the night of our next board meeting, August 6th. So, but we've been kind of on track, but I had planned tonight to say to you guys, we have had a couple of surprises come up in the last couple of weeks, and if we were to continue to get a surprise or two, it's going to push us beyond the timelines we have to follow. So I wanted to just put the idea out that it is possible that we could have something come up that we're not able to finish the process. There are a couple of little caveats with some jobs that are currently posted, and then if a position were to become vacant that we're not aware of right now. So to get those approved before the start of the school year, so one option would be to try to do like a called meeting just for personnel, maybe right before school starts. I know in other systems and the systems I've worked in, some last minute things that just aren't gonna happen, before the last board meeting. The people have gone ahead and, come to things, and then once it's approved, they're paid for the days that they work. That's not the greatest option, but it happens. So I guess I wanted to get your input about that. And I was planning to say that, and then just this afternoon, within the last 2 hours before the meeting, we had 2 issues come up where they've run into obstacles in getting finished with their processes to make recommendations, and they were calling saying, hey, panicking, trying to get it in, and I'm afraid they're not going to be able to. So my first question is, how do you want to handle that?
I don't know that we can make a decision right now because it's an unknown factor.
I'm pretty confident, based on the 2 calls I got this afternoon, that it's going to happen with those 2. And it would be very unusual if we go through the rest of the summer without some surprise coming up where someone leaves or someone, vacates a position. And at that point, if any of that happens from this point forward, that just would not be able to meet the timeline requirements. So
I think that after the next meeting that we have next week, then after that board meeting, when you have some come up that need to be employed, then we could do a call board meeting after that, in order to have them employed before school starts.
I wondered, on the Thursday before Institute, which is July 30th, is that Thursday, we're going to have a new teacher orientation that morning. And so I wondered if it would be possible that if I got the information to you ahead of time without a work session, but just like we would do for a board meeting, to get the information to you a few days ahead of time. But I feel like we'd be lucky to get away with 2, but we'll have a handful of positions that at the last minute. And this might be one of those things that it's probably one of those things that's going to happen every year. It's hard to avoid it, kind of like what we talked about in May. So it might even be something we want to schedule. I'm talking just like a very brief meeting to address that. But
We might run into a procedural problem if we do it that way, because that means it would take a unanimous vote of the board to set the rules aside in order to address the issue without it being brought to a work session first. So it might be, maybe this to schedule a work session.
it's basically what we have
And then
now
follow
in
up.
May, though, because you don't actually get the names of the personnel items until the board meeting, right before the board meeting anyway. So you would know it's personnel actions, but just like with any board meeting, you wouldn't have the details until 2 days before the actual meeting.
Now, to do personnel, we wouldn't have to have a work session for that.
There really wouldn't be anything to talk about at that point.
Would it,
I have to go back.
would it be possible to move our July meeting or our August meeting to possibly the 3rd? Or is that still not?
The only thing about moving is we have some that will be ready, and we want to go ahead and get them blocked in so they can do what they need to do on their end.
So what day do you look at?
Well, I mean, I'm flexible because I'm asking for this, but I wondered if, like that 30th,
Or wouldn't those employees have to go to Institute?
which is the next Monday.
The next one? Oh, yeah, like the 3rd that day.
Right. No, the new teacher orientation is something kind of it's
You
kind
could
of
do another
one of those things. Well, we would probably get them to go ahead and come because all of the employees, we could get them to come and they would understand that, all of this is pending their employment on being official. Their official start date when they get paid is that Monday.
I think the procedures state that it has to be brought up at a previous meeting, but not the preceding meeting. So the fact that you're bringing it to us today, I think will probably be sufficient to agree, Mr. Kemp.
I agree.
Why don't we go go ahead and just set a tentative date on the 30th, if everybody's okay with that. And if we don't need it, we're gonna cancel it. Sounds like we probably will need it.
I was going to say we may or may not until, I think it's very likely we will, just based on, it was funny, within 10 minutes, I got 2 phone calls, I was kind of laughing.
And then would that be a 5?
Well, it's a call meeting, so we can set it whenever we need to. Does anyone have conflicts on that day or any time?
I just do that one.
Anything after?
Anything after lunch is
Just to be consistent, we'll just stick with 5 o'clock.
I'll be out of the country on the 30th, Mr. Chairman.
Can't go.
But that's not a serious idea.
Let me ask this question. In lieu of us doing this now and knowing that this is probably an annual thing that will happen, do we want to, maybe for the board meeting next week, go ahead and look at the calendar we've already set for board meetings for next year and set something like we have in May?
I'm not against that, but I'd rather wait until
Okay.
August, because between now and then, I'll run into something else, and this might not be the best. You may decide, well, I should have done this a little earlier, we should have done it a little later. This is already
Oh,
behind
I
us.
see what you're saying.
You can look at it
Yes.
in retrospect
Got it.
and decide whether or not
Okay.
that was a good
That's a
decision.
good idea. Okay.
All right,
Oh,
so,
and one other question I had.
Wes, did you get that?
Got it.
All right.
Okay, so I just need to ask this, and this is, I need to hear what the position of this board as a body is on this. So we have some personnel actions that will come to you next week. In light of kind of what some of the discussion was from our last board meeting, there was a question raised from more than one board member about qualifications of employees certified employees who do some of the alternate certification paths. So we have at least one candidate that's been recommended for next week that falls into that same category. We have multiple employees currently employed that fall into that category, and the state is moving more in a direction of all kinds of alternate certification paths, and in fact is encouraging more of that. So whatever issues we have right now with regard to that will increasingly be a problem moving forward. So the state has set minimum guidelines, what they deem minimum guidelines for showing content knowledge in the different areas. And so before I bring any other recommendations that would fall into that category, I need to know the mindset of this board in terms of recognizing those credentials. And it will happen as early as next week. I already have some on the list.
Okay, I can tell this is gonna take some discussion, so I'm gonna say one thing, and we're gonna take a break, and we'll come back to it. As far as getting in the mindset of the board as a whole, to ask something of the board as a whole in a work session, I think probably would be appropriate, but each board member can give you their individual opinion of what they think. But we're not going to take any type of vote or anything to determine a board as a whole.
Okay.
I think. But we're gonna take a break right
Or
now.
consensus.
Well, she can draw her own
Yeah.
opinion of what the consensus is. 15, 16 salary schedules. Does anyone have any questions? I have one comment about some of the format.
Did we do number 2?
I just mentioned it along with the personnel actions would be included in your packet. We could still have some unfilled slots there, but we're going to just do what we have so far.
Are you talking about
The supplements, item 2.
the actual, like?
The actual
positions?
names, who for each position, and we're going to include head and assistant coaches. That's really the recommendation from, I SSA recommends that's the recommendation, that we would approve anything that would be attached to anything that would impact somebody's salaries. So in the past, I understand that you all have just approved, the board has just approved head coaching positions, but we're just going to take the whole supplement list and bring what we
Each
have so
person
far.
attached.
What we have so far, there could still be some holes there that are
But
still
it will be a
working.
separate action item.
Yes.
So supplemental is coaches.
Will it
Yes.
also
It
include?
well, it includes any.
For the newbie city.
Well, and it's not just coaches, anything on the supplement.
Yeah.
There are a few things that are not just coaching athletic positions, but anything on the supplement list.
And choral, things like that.
Will that also include athletic director responsibilities? Because that's kind of a supplement as we see.
It's on the salary, on the supplement schedule. I'm not sure whether we're going to be ready or not. I think I've talked to you about kind of some of the things we're looking at with that. I don't know if we're going to be ready or not to fill all the names in there by next week, but yes, that's part of that schedule.
On the salary schedules, I'm going to have a little more time to get through all of it. The one thing about formatting as far as changes go that I want to comment on, the strike-throughs, and we're using more now, which I appreciate. I still like to get the underscores on the things that are added. When you do it in color, it's good on the iPad, but when you print it off, you don't know what's in color. If you print it in black and white. So the highlights and the color changes don't show up. So if we underscored the things that are added, strike through the things that are not, that's the best way of keeping up with that.
And then they're all also in that little box.
Like the box.
Yeah, the notes at the end.
The
Yeah.
box in red at the bottom.
Does anyone have a comment about the salary schedule?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
item C, bowling.
You didn't see what?
Bowling.
Oh,
Was that going to come in and do supplemental?
It will be on one next Thursday.
Is that,
Good catch.
are there any other?
That would have been the new one.
And that's currently 1,000.
That's what we want to mention. Is that, but that's the least.
Most of the changes you see here are just kind of cleaning up the format in terms of some of the recommendations that Becky has through, the State Department about what should be on our salary schedule and the way it should be laid out. Almost all the changes you see here are with regard to that. We are, as I've told you, planning over the next year, so this time next year, hopefully to have thoroughly researched and be able to make some recommendations that we think need to be made, if any, based on sort of comparative data. But it'll take us some time to work with that, so there's nothing like that in here.
Any other questions about the salary schedule? Now we're going to move on to the FY15 budget